Japanese monster. The matter. In Greek mythology, the story of the Minotaur is well known. The Minotaur has the head and tail of a bull and the body of a man. But in Japan, there is a mythical creature with a human head and the body of a bovine called the matter. Incredibly, the matter is a creature that can predict the future. It is said that the matter only appears once every 100 years. It is born from the belly of a bovine, with a human head and a bovine's body. From 4 days to 3 years after it was born, it won't eat, drink, nor make a cry, until one day, it will suddenly speak in human language to predict the great events that are going to happen in the world and then die immediately. Isn't it good to be able to know the future? Unfortunately, most of the prophecies told by the matter are ominous disasters, such as epidemics or wars. What is even more frightening is that although the prophecies of the matter do not specify a specific location, they are 100% accurate, that is, the catastrophe it told will happen somewhere 100%. In 1905, a journalist reported that there was the matter, which was born in a farmhouse in Nagasaki in 1895, lived for a while, and died 31 days after the prediction that Japan will go to war with Russia in 1904 accurately predicted the Russian-Japanese War. After its death, it was tucked into Nagasaki's local museum on display but disappeared with the closure of the museum. Is there a way to avoid disasters? There is a saying that there are males and females of the matter, and they will be born at the same time but in different places. The prophecy of the female will be accurate, but the male will tell people how to avoid the disasters. As long as people find the male and listen to its prophecy, they may be able to avoid the disasters. The above are all well-known folklore in Japan today. There is also a saying that the matter will die immediately after doing prophecy within 3 days of birth. However, one of the earliest records in history about the matter is quite different from the above. In 1836, the matter was recorded for the first time on a news sheet of the Edo period, which is the picture you see. The news sheets were printed papers that were sold on the streets during the Edo period, similar to tabloids today. There are a lot of reports about disasters, fires, news, anecdotes, and other things that folks care about or are interested in. And these news sheets, published many times every day, were so popular because of the curiosity of the folks. From the perspective of historical events, such as the arrival of the American Black Ship, the Japan-Boshin War, and other anecdotal information such as the destruction of the enemy during the war, natural disasters, and sightings of mermaids, people were addicted to it. One of the earliest records about the matter is rough as follows. In December 1836, in the deep mountains of a country in Japan, a creature called the matter, with a human head and a bovine's body appeared. It was not the first time that it appeared. According to ancient books, the matter also showed up in December 1705, and the following year, the locals had a great harvest. The character was consisting of human, next to the word cattle, written like this and read as kyuden, because the creature has an upright mind. Putting the sheet of the matter at home can ward off evil and disease and bring a good harvest. It's obvious that at the earliest, the matter was a kind of auspicious creature, which could bring good harvest and health. However, It seems that merchants were marketing their products, that's why they encouraged everyone to buy the new sheets home to ward off disasters. Later, the story gradually changed with the times, and the matter changed from an auspicious creature that could bring a good harvest to a divine creature that could predict disasters. Because the Japanese believed that the prophecies of the matter were 100% accurate and credible, so the Japanese would write, just like the matter, on the advertisements or documents at that time, which means that they were very credible and absolutely won't go wrong. The Japanese writing of the matter is, actually, a Chinese character, consisting of human and cattle, in addition to specifically describing the appearance of this creature. The matter also means a unit of measure that can refer to a thing or an item, and the matter symbolizes an object that brings reality. Cattle, in Japanese culture, is an animal that is close to farmers and is regarded as a member of the family. This status beyond ordinary livestock makes cattle mysterious. This half-human half-animal image can be understood as the human part symbolizing civilization, while the animal part represents the power of nature. The image of half-human and half-cattle has the power of both sides at the same time. Clergy or government officials at the time may have used the matter as supernatural powers to transmit information on ways to avoid disasters and diseases to farmers who lack education but believe in supernatural powers. For example, in 1944, a news sheet issued by the Japanese Police and Security Bureau said, "A human child with 4 legs like a cattle was born," and it predicted that the war would end this year, and epidemic diseases may occur at that time. People who eat more prunes or leeks will not get sick, and after saying these words, the child like a cattle died. This kind of story is easy to spread among the people during wars or natural disasters. This picture is also an example, with the description, "Everything grows from food, and people who eat and drink too much are prone to illness. Therefore, you should focus on self-care to avoid diseases." This is the story of the matter. Would you want to meet it if you had the chance? If you like this yokai story or Asian culture, please don't forget to subscribe for more new stories.